Why did I leave Europe? It's not a decision you make overnight, but at some point I had to stop pretending everything was fine. There was a reason why I was traveling that much as well. It wasn't fine. And if you are someone who feels stuck, drained, overtaxed, underappreciated, this video is for you. Because I'm not just going to tell you why I left, I'm going to tell you why you might want to do the same. You know, deep down, I think I always knew I would have to leave. Not just my city, not just my job, but the entire system. When I was 18, I left the poor, difficult town I grew up in to go study in a bigger city. And that decision changed my life because I saw something most people never get to see, that your environment shapes your opportunities. And that sometimes to live the life you want, you have to leave. And that lesson never left me. It's probably why I chose to write my thesis on expatriation for my master's degree. Even back then, I knew this wasn't forever. The problem is, Europe sells you a very good story. Study hard, work hard, be a good citizen, pay your taxes, and then one day you will wake up rich, respected, and free. Except that day never comes. What really happens? You work more and more, you pay more and more, and the return gets smaller and smaller. You are taxed like crazy, treated like a suspect if you are self-employed, living in overpriced housing you didn't even choose, and then you are told you should be grateful. I was living in Belgium. I had a successful business, a decent income, and no quality of life. Everything was expensive, everything was stressful. Even renting an apartment was a nightmare. As an entrepreneur, they looked at me like I was dangerous, so I ended up renting this huge 4-bedroom house outside the city. Not because I wanted it, but because it was the only place I could get approved for. I didn't need it, I didn't even enjoy it, but I paid for it. A lot. And it's not only the cost of life, everything is so much expensive even for a business. An accountant, for example, charges between 400 to 500 euro per month. Now, I only pay 100. You pay insane taxes for a city that felt increasingly dirty and unsafe. You know, I remember my first car. 10 years ago, I was so proud, and 2 weeks later, vandalized. Why would I keep working harder just to feel like that? I realized something dangerous. The more I worked, the more I paid, the less I was rewarded. And when you look around, you see a system that's not just expensive, it's close-minded, rigid, politically tense, increasingly intolerant. And if you are someone like me, child of immigrants, self-employed, ambitious, you start to feel like you are not welcome. So I started asking myself, why am I playing a game that's stacked against me? Then came the second, even bigger question, where do I want to raise my family? Because let's be honest, I don't want my kids to grow up in an environment where everyone is exhausted, anxious, and bitter, where people feel punished for trying to succeed, where racism and close-mindedness are normalized, where education doesn't match my value, where everything is pressure, pressure, pressure. That's not what I want my children to absorb. That's not the life I want to model. Everything changed during a short stay in Mauritius a few years ago. I went there for 3 months, visiting my family, and I wasn't pushing hard. I was only working 4 hours a day. And it was my best quarter of the year. Let that sink in. Less work, more clarity, more results. Why? Because I was aligned. The pace, the people, the space to breathe, the energy. I realized that success is not about doing more, it's about doing what matters in the right environment. When I got back to Europe, I threw myself into work. New projects, new goals, more income. And one day I caught myself asking, how much is enough? Because I had already made more than I needed, but I still didn't feel free. That's when I knew I didn't want to scale endlessly. I want to enjoy my life. So I made a decision. I closed the company. I started from scratch. And this time I built a business around my life, not the other way around. Today I live 100 meters from the beach. My living costs have been cut in half. My taxes are 10 to 20%, not 60 to 70%. I have help at home, I work a few focused hours a day, and I actually enjoy what I do again. This is what a lifestyle business looks like. It's not about building a huge agency, it's about building a lean, profitable machine that gives you time for your family, for your passions, for your freedom. And I want to show others that it's possible, especially recruiters. You don't need to burn out managing a team of 20. You don't need to work 70 hours a week. You can build something light, efficient, and deeply rewarding. And if you are in that space, if you are a recruiter or entrepreneur trying to land better clients without cold spamming, without chasing dead leads, without burning out, I have built a system for that. It's simple, it works. If you want to check it out, just DM me the word signals on Instagram and I will send it to you. It's totally free and you get direct access. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is leave. Leave the place that drains you. Leave the system that breaks you. Leave the story that no longer fits. I left Europe and it was one of the best decisions I ever made. Now it's your turn to ask yourself, what are you still tolerating? Let you think about it. Subscribe to the channel, please. Like the video. I have much more content to come soon and see you in the next one.